Welcome back. Tom Hartman here with you, and it's Anything Goes Friday. Darren in Everett, Washington, watching us on Facebook Live. Hey, Darren, what's up?
Hey, I want to talk about a war on injured workers and how it's adding to homelessness and inequality here in America. That back in 2015, OSHA and Senator Sanders and NPR all told us, and the U.S. Department of Labor with Tom Perez, all come out and told us we need some minimum federal standards over these broken state work comp systems. Yet 3 years later, the left is silent, and I'm begging for help here as an injured worker in the state of Washington who has been abused and harmed. Yet I have our revolution not wanting to put this issue and Senator Sanders' solutions on the table. And I would like to know why the left basically is failing us at this time.
I don't know the answer to your question, Darren, and I'm sorry to hear about your circumstances. I hope you get through it. I'm sorry, I don't know. Paul in Sparta, Wisconsin. Hey, Paul, what's on your mind today?
Thanks for.
So this is from Darren. Darren's very passionate about this, and I think I've simplified his basic question, but it really stems about how we are letting down our injured workers. And she's wondering, do you support Senator Sanders' call for federal oversight of state work comp systems? Feels like we are really letting our injured workers down in California. I wonder what you thought about that.
Yeah, so, in California, we have a lot of issues that I think that most people just keep saying they're state issues. But I think at the federal level, there is always something that we can do. And that is always done by incentives, right? Here in California, I used to work in construction, and I used to see how workman's comp used to work. In fact, my boyfriend, he's actually one of the people who was injured here in California. And after you meet a certain amount of days, you're kicked off the program. So you either you're rushed to either settle with the company that you were hurt with. And the deals aren't really there. And there's really no support at the state level to guide you through the process. And so there's really no oversight. I mean, so a lot of these companies are getting away with really murder. They're paying out people for fractures to their spine, at $10,000, $17,000 when they know that the lifelong care is going to be well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's just one of the reasons why I support Medicare expansion for all, so that people are not stuck with these enormous bills that they're going to have to fork out of nowhere. I mean, the amount that people are being charged for doctor visits and follow-ups are absurd, and no one can afford them. So it just leaves more room for more injuries in the future. And I believe that we can have some real progress if the federal decides to have oversight in every state. And I'm telling you that because California has higher standards than other states. So I can't imagine what's happening in other states.
Yeah.
Wow.
Injured workers more, and when you do workers more, and when you do more for injured workers. There.
Yes.
Yes. And we got to get Tyler elected first before he can do anything about him. When he's elected is when we really hold the feet to the fire. Holding his feet to the fire now, that's distracting from the bigger purpose of getting a progressive elected in office and getting things like this into place. So we totally hear you, Darren. We hear you. We've read all your comments on the videos. We know that that's super important. We're trying to get people in place that can deal with that. So be here now.
That's a prefix for this whole thing.
Yes.
We've got to do this when they're in office. We've got to do this when they're in office.
You've got to get them in office, and you can't have them have their entire platform and everything all worked out. Tyler said more than once during his interview, he's going to do what his constituents tell him and ask him, and what he's not going to be bossed by corporations, but he's got to get elected first before he has that mandate. So let's concentrate on that. And same with all of our the candidates, not just Washington.
Right. We hear you in all caps, Darren. Honestly, we do. And Phil, I know Sea Shepherd didn't go out. I forget the reason. I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't go out. I thought they were pretty decent funded. Let us know if you know what they. That is what you've been telling us for 6 years. I haven't been telling anybody anything for 6 years. I'm Melissa. I don't know what's going on. Ed Schultz, I didn't know this was news. I thought Ed Schultz had already said all this, but apparently now he's said all this.
This is a call I did on the radio with one of the union talk shows.
I'm not even good enough to be a placeholder. And what's a placeholder? Josh Slaughter.
Somebody who's really not running.
You know, I think every union leader should go ahead and be a placeholder when the parties do not want to put up a good candidate because they don't have the resources or no one just cares. You know, like I actually voted for a Republican this year because he's excellent at constituent services. I don't think he's a real Republican. I just think he had to do it because all his neighbors are. But, you know, thank you for saying that. And then we got a guy who's nuts, you said? We were asking him to call in.
Yeah, he's going to
calling labor leader whores.
He's going to call in a second.
Not all of them are whores. But let's get, before, we got to get into this. We'll hear this guy out when he calls in. And you're only getting 30 seconds, dude. All right? I have a lot to go over. We're going to talk about the Building Trades Conference, legislative conference down in Washington, D.C. And Bernie didn't go. Neither did Beto. Neither did Biden. And who did go?
Kamala Harris.
Elizabeth
Warren. Cory Booker. John Hickenlooper.
And
a bunch of other sort of lower tier guys.
Mike Concho. The
I
keynote
didn't even
speaker.
know a couple of those people were even running for president, so there's a lot of their campaigns.
Yeah. Mayor Pete and Mike Concho. What is Mayor Pete's last name?
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Food and Judge.
So here's the thing.
Who did Judge?
Let's get into this real quick with Donnie. This is a healthy conversation.
Don't start.
No, I'm not starting.
No,
that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, tell him to wait a second. Actually, you know, let's listen to him and then we'll get into your thing because I want to give you time to. I want to give you time to like really think about it.
I don't need time.
I think it's a
Shut your mouth.
I think it's a riveting thing that people want to hear about.
I don't think
Okay, all right, James, put him on. Is he mad? What's he mad about? James is yelling at him. James, we need more staff. You know, Stern has 77 fucking people. Stern, the great king of all media, Howard Stern, has 77 people. I have 2 assholes and a Skippy. What's up, buddy? Hello.
Hey, yeah. My name is Darren Fonso, and I'm an injured worker calling from Washington State, and I'm wanting to know why Senator Bernie Sanders and Tom Perez told us we need minimum federal oversight of our broken state work comp systems 3 years ago. Yet 3 years later, none of our union members or leaders will put that minimum federal standards on the table for the injured workers of America. And I want to know why we're being failed by our union brothers and sisters at this point.
Yeah. So what's the story? So 3 years ago, Sanders introduced some legislation that went nowhere in a government that we just can't get anything done, right? So
he didn't introduce no legislation.
Oh, he did introduce it.
He wrote a letter.
He wrote a letter.
Department of Labor and OSHA.
Yeah. You know, you think
asking for minimum federal oversight for the injured workers of America.
Now what happened to you? You're injured?
No, I got a pension now after 7 years of work comp hell. I got put through hell for 7 years. I also had my father-in-law work to death in the state, who was a Mexican immigrant, where Walmart and the state and the state fund and Sedgwick insurer worked him to death on his on-the-job injury. I couldn't prove they worked him to death, but I did prove they were trying to cheat him out of a PPD award for an amputated part. We used that money to bury him with.
Now, what did you tell your union? Did you tell your union that you were upset about the lack of progress?
Oh, yes. My union leaders and everybody in the state of Washington and the Bernie Crack Coalition, I have begged of the Bernie Crack Coalition to put these minimum federal standards on the table, and they not only not want to put them on the table, they're trying to silence me and jail me over my Facebook comments rather than telling the truth. Sanders told us needs to be done for my class of people.
Well, the only thing I can tell you, brothers, I don't know too much details about your thing, but you can't give up. If you're really about protecting your fellow brothers and sisters on the job and workers you don't even know from coast to coast, you got to keep it up, you know? And try to be a little patient with these union guys because they're so overwhelmed, especially in your state. I mean,
I'm slamming it.
Yeah.
I'm slamming. I'm calling them out in public.
Yeah, so go ahead and try to get people.
I'm recording it. I'm calling them. I'm recording the calls. I'm putting them online. And I have the National Association of Injured Workers. We are networked across this nation, and we are fighting back.
All right. Listen, we'll do some research on that.
Thank you, sir.
Send us what you got on it, okay? We'll get it out there. You know, so I'm glad that we were able to take it. Okay, have a good one. Have a good one. See, we got to be able to take calls like that because he has a legitimate. Maybe he's a member of a bum union, like one of these company unions. It just doesn't.
It might not be like I said, like he was saying, and I don't know because you were trying to keep the call condensed to keep the interest up. It could be situations, though, like we've gone through in this state where we're trying to pass legislation that doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell, and it kind of dies out. It's not that we're not fighting or working, but it's you do so much more behind the scenes to see if you can even get it to a vote or the floor or whatever, and you don't know what the end result will be. That could have been one of our members complaining about us with telecom legislation for the last 8 years.
You failed on call center for 3 years, and you finally got it.
How about like 8 or 9 years?
And you had to change the house.
Yes.
Yeah, look,
You just got your ass kicked on the prevailing wage.
It's not a lack of effort but, on behalf of the unions. I think it's also a telltale sign why we need more union people run for office.
That's right.
Because you get these candidates who they run, they promise the world, they say they're labor candidates, but then they don't do shit.
And I know for sure, like AFT always puts it out there. Teachers run for office. The IBEW has a very intensive COPE training. The state of New Jersey, you know, Charlie wouldn't piss on me if my face was on fire. The guy who runs the AFL-CIO there. Fuck.
Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios. It's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. Talk news that works from the people who go to work. The fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. News, progress, and workplace politics. Now here's your host, Chris LaGrange.
So, protesters got locked up in New York State Capitol. Housing costs are their concern. Plus, get ready for the bloodiest job action ever, according to this guy named John. West Virginia is trying to take away educators' right to strike. Will their governor let them? How
real name? Give him the cold shoulder.
Jimmy, how you doing?
What's his real name for all of Chris's West Virginia fans? So it's gotta get that out there.
Jim Justice.
Can we get a phone set up here?
Jim Justice?
Yeah.
Moron. This guy's name is Jim Justice, and he's going to sign a bill that takes away workers' rights. That's how apropos is that?
We don't know this.
Jim Justice.
His name's not Jim Justice, is it really?
It's Jim No Justice if he signs that bill.
He is a bad, bad man.
Can we do a break? I've been asking for it forever.
Jim Justice, do not sign that bill.
All right, when we come back, and what else?
And
anyone else other than Donnie? Donnie, don't you have a job to do? I mean, Dennis?
We have one more from our friend Darren, but I just lost it. So
oh, boy.
Give me a second.
All right. No, it's okay.
Son of a bitch!
We have too much of that guy. Our first whack packer.
He's awesome.
I know he's awesome.
Yeah, he was just saying that.
Oh boy,
it's perfectly fine. He just had an injured worker tell him that she asked Jim Justice to help out some injured workers. Of course, he did not reply back.
Of course not, because he's a fence sitter, Darren, and these people got to be held accountable for their actions. Period.
And you should
if they're not going to get off the fence, then they got to get out of the office.
So.
Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios. It's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. Talk news that works from the people who go to work. The fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. News, progress, and workplace politics. Now here's your host, Chris.
Other comments. My good friend Darren from where's he from again?
Washington State.
Washington State.
Yeah.
Here's his dumps. Where's his dumps? You got his dumps? Can you get his dumps going? You got a few of those dumps, right?
No,
we lost them.
Chris LaGrange, you're a mother. Oh,
yeah,
you want they're right on
those
there.
dumps.
I thought you want me to add something new. You want me to? Get
No. Where are they? I can't find them. There's so many here. So this guy is commenting now.
Yes.
This guy. That guy is commenting.
Be honest with labor, prick.
Where's the one where he called me a really bad word?
Chris LaGrange, you're a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's my friend from Washington. You said he was in jail?
I don't know. He started commenting again, saying that he was out of jail. I don't know if he was talking about Facebook jail or what, but.
So that guy, what is he saying? This nut.
All right. So when we were talking about the NLRB, he said Trump and his deregulation is harming injured workers. Obama put in a presidential order to track on-the-job injuries. Trump took it away. Yet our own Democrats fail to fight for something. Injured workers.
I know the
oversight.
Democrats should do what the laborers did. All get together and start screaming and yelling at the White House.
Non-stop.
They should fight like Parliament.
Occupy Trump Tower.
I bet you Mitch McConnell will go down like this. Like, boom. Like, boom. And I would let a female do that.
It looks like someone could put their hand through his face.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah. Is his wife... What's his wife's name?
Elaine Chao.
Is she making our conservative calendar women?
Yes.
We got a story coming, and it's going to get me in trouble, but I don't care. I'm always in trouble. I can't take it anymore. That we're going to do a calendar of conservative women, and what's her name again?
Elaine Chao.
Elaine Chao is on it. What's her name? Senator Collins is on it.
Yes.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders is Miss February. And you imagine this calendar. It would sell. It would sell. I'm sending it to the union printer next door and going to see if I could get rid of it. Anyway, what else is Darren saying?
Okay, so when we were talking about the opioid crisis, he said you cannot address the opioid crisis without addressing the class war on American injured workers.
He's right.
His sister died from OD last year, and he said if we do not address a broken workers' comp system, we're not addressing 25%.
And even though Darren's nuts,
suicides.
and he called me his bitch and get honest, right?
You get honest with labor, prick.
I mean, I'm not prick
he
now.
says he was in real jail.
Oh, he was in real
continuing to
jail?
comment.
He's in real. Darren, call in 631-969-9599. We want to hear about why you were in real jail, and please don't hurt me. All right, we'll get him on the phone and figure that out. But he is right. We need to, if we start realizing that a pathway to drugs is not just depression, because your dad didn't call you on your birthday, but it's stuff like, yeah, I got hurt on the job and my back hurts and I can't get these opiates anymore. Nothing's really working. Let me try some heroin. I hear that works. Next thing you know, you're dead in a ditch.
Well, that was the whole point of that. What was it? The Oklahoma lawsuit was that they said that the opioid providers were basically making up like fake studies and stuff, saying that you could just keep prescribing it, keep taking it, and it wasn't bad for you. And then all these people started moving past opioids and moving to fentanyl and heroin.
So I got a question real quick before we get in serious here.
Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios, it's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, and workforce politics. The loudest, strongest, and fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. Now here's your host, Chris LaGrange.
GM strikers killed on a picket line in Tennessee. Chicago teachers on strike, but will the Dems abandon them yet again? The mayor of New Orleans wants to demo the deadly Hard Rock job that killed 3 construction workers. 26,000 rally for Bernie in the Big Apple. Facebook is finally under investigation. Too little, too late, and somehow the Washington Nationals are in the World Series and winning. All right, everybody. I'm Chris LaGrange. You come live with me, Chris LaGrange, News, Talk, Sports, Workforce, Politics, the fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. Let's get the energy up, everybody. So listen, the mayor of New Orleans, right? Talk about the public is on our side. That's why we have an audience. That's why UCOM's able to exist without the help or support of really anybody but ourselves and our drive and ambitious to bring you news that you get nowhere else. I do talk to like producers and stuff from mainstream media, and they're all just money-grubbing whores. Trust me. I don't trust them. Trust me. So if you ever see me selling out, it's to deliver you this news. But like in New Orleans, where 3 construction workers died, and we broke that story and it blew up, and I'm making money off of Google like there's no tomorrow. I'm not proud of that, but we have Google ads on our blog, and for a reason, because we got to keep these freaking lights on somehow. The mainstream media down there wasn't covering it. They weren't covering this story, and we were putting as much pressure on them as possible. But now the mayor has come out and said what?
That they want the building completely knocked down and start fresh.
Now, do we have audio on that?
Yep.
Is it good? Is it good enough to play? Bad thing is that the 3 men who died in New Orleans were exploited. They are not the enemy. The non-union are not the enemy. We're our own enemies by not organizing them.
Has anybody begun to do the work that's involved in determining that actually this is in fact was caused by, failures of construction in this aspect, that aspect? What has that?
I think so. The feds are up their yin yang down there.
They've started an investigation, although it's been slowed by the fact that the building is not stable. And lawyers have started to file lawsuits that are requiring that as they take the building down, everything gets
memorialize the evidence. Because look, at the end of the day, these standards are there for a reason, for this purpose. And if you have a departure from one of those standards and somebody's hurt as a result of that, this is a collapse of this magnitude and death. The loss of behind every worker, there's a family that's sustained.
Yes.
There's children who aren't going to have that parent.
Yes.
To, bring them through their lives.
I mean,
like that. So this is a big deal. So.
And we're going to get into just in a few minutes. We play the mayor, please. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, mayor of New Orleans. What's his name? Mayor what? Do we know?
First, it's a woman.
Mayor Tiger.
Mayor Pete.
Mayor
that's
Pete.
the AFL-CIO president down there.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Tiger?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
We want a complete demolition. And while it's under the authority right now of the city of New Orleans, that's our focus, and that will be our mission.
All right, so she wants to cover up. I get what Bish is saying. I don't think we should be demoing this thing right away. Let's figure out. Let's peel apart the argument.
Kind of like burning a crime scene.
Yes.
If you don't, let's put it this way: if the argument's going to be that this happened because there was a failure to employ union labor, because union labor, we know with union labor there's going to be standards adhered to, safety is going to be a priority, and that the work's going to be done in a quality fashion without people being killed.
Yes.
Now we have this huge industrial project that's been a disaster, death, and a whole host of problems that go along with it. The question is going to be: are they going to get the answers regarding what's the cause of this? Where did it go wrong? At the end of the day, if it can simply be drawn back to say, listen, had you hired and employed union labor in order to get this job done, let me tell you why this would have been done safely. Because we have this protocol, that protocol, the other protocol, the set of rules set up already. The training's better. The work product's better.
The internet. We haven't been funny today. Everyone's so serious. Workers are dying. People are on strike. And Darren's blowing up our YouTube. So Bishop Schneck didn't know that at first I turned Darren like I turned Trump voters. Darren threatened us and called in and he was mad.
Chris LaGrange, you're a motherfucker.
Yeah. So Darren got arrested for threatening a judge. Because he I don't know, he's part of this health workers organization.
Yeah.
Right?
Injured workers.
Injured workers
of America.
He represents all injured workers in the world. And so he called me out and we do we have the clip? And how long is it of him just going on and on? How long is it? How long?
It was long. I got other,
I think it was like a minute and a half.
You talk about that. You get that shit addressed.
Yeah, people are that's the way they are around here. So,
hey, Chris.
Yes.
I have Darren on the line. He wants to talk about a crane collapse in Seattle 6 months ago that they're now trying to blame on.
All right, Darren, you got to keep it quick. Darren, you got to be quick. What's going on?
Oh, I'm good for a laugh if nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah, you are.
Darren, what happened in Seattle?
Well, we had the crane go down about 6 months ago, and it wasn't put together right. They took the pins out early. They took the pins out too early, and they were ordered to do that. But when the collapse happened, all the papers and everything were trying to blame the workers for the harm that was done. But they did an investigation, and after the investigation, they found out they were ordered to take those pins out. So they were trying to save time and money rather than save the injured to help prevent safety.
What did anyone die?
Yes.
How many?
I think we had 2 or 3 people died. There was a couple crane operators and a couple people died in their cars.
Well, when did this happen?
About 6 months ago. I put it on your guys' blog and your YouTube pages.
Brian?
Maybe.
Oh, Jesus. So where are they at right now? What's the situation right now then?
basically they're going to go after the contractors, and then now they're going to be doing a criminal investigation into it.
Okay, a union employer or not?
That one, I think some were and some weren't.
Okay.
Actually, I think our union guys did the same thing. They came in to help, but you have to read up more on that.
Please. All right, listen, get it to us again, okay? I'm sorry, we didn't mean to ignore you, but we'll get on this one. We'll blog it out for you, okay, buddy?
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Darren. Okay, talk to you later, buddy.
All right,
yep.
have a good one.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
you too. All right. See, that's our source, Darren.
Yeah.
The guy who goes to jail for threatening judges.
No offense, but he does send us comment and send us so much stuff. Sometimes it's hard to.
Darren, just be choice with it, pal.
Yeah.
We're busy, man.
Hold on, he did his job. He just called up on the phone and let you know again. 6 months later, a little reminder,
That's
a little nudge.
Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios, it's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, and workforce politics. The loudest, strongest, and fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. Now here's your host, Chris LaGrange.
Excuse my French. I'm sorry, ladies. I know you don't like the cursing. Chris LaGrange, dump it. Go ahead. So campus nonsense, go. Don't anger me anymore with the reading.
LaGrange, you're a motherfucker.
Thank you, Darren.
I love that.
Darren, the number's right there. 631-969.
Play that again.
Darren was in jail, right?
Yes.
Darren's one of our stalkers, but he's a nice guy, I think. Or I don't know.
Darren was in jail for yelling at a judge.
At a judge.
Over who was denying a workers' comp claim.
And that's what
You get honest with labor, prick.
What's wrong with it? Did it fry?
Must have hit the update button.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no, never update.
Don't ever update your machinery. Just go out and have a beer. He's like, no.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
We got, Darren's on the line. He gave us a ring.
Okay, all right. Darren.
Hey.
Darren.
How you doing?
You were in jail.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, it was over a year and a half ago or so when I had like a psychotic breakdown over workers' comp, and I left several messages to the work comp judge that were rather violent, basically.
So what'd you say? You're like
psychotic.
You're gonna kick his ass or something?
Pretty much, yeah.
You can't do that though. You know, you can get in big trouble. Like end up in jail.
Yeah, I know, but I had a psychotic mental breakdown, and the judge agreed with it. He agreed with me. They picked me up like a year and a half later after the phone calls, and because I was yelling at the labor boss, Larry Brown, here in our state. But I only served like 30 days, and I bailed out. And then when I went to court, the public defender and the judge, all of them knew each other because it was over in Olympia, the capital, where they took me to.
Okay.
And the judge, the work comp judge, said to show him some leniency because he'd been through work comp hell, and he knew that.
Ah, so you got a little bit of sympathy from the man.
And then get this, my public defender said the work comp judge was even fond of Darren. My jaw almost dropped to the floor.
Now, listen, what was jail like? Because I've been to jail, but not like for 30 days. Was it like minimum security, paper blanket, bologna sandwich, everyone's nice? Did you get in any fights? What happened?
Oh, lots of people got in fights, but I don't get any. I lay low.
Did you get a tattoo?
No, I see other people get tattoos.
Why didn't you get a tattoo, like a memento?
But no, jail still sucks, and no, you don't want to go there. And don't yell at the work comp judge. It's not a good thing to do. But they were backing me in the corner. It's been like 7 years since.
Darren's a reformed man. Darren, were you listening to the clip we played of Senator Brown talking about the safety net for fired manufacturing workers? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just barely heard that, and I'm glad you pointed that out because I want to learn more about it. Now, I haven't even heard about that one. It sounds like a good idea. It's a little bit of federal oversight. I still want to see he was one of the signers of the letter that Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez all basically signed off on that said we need some minimum federal standards like we have a minimum federal wage, basically. And what I like to say, we regulate spark plugs on a national level so that there's some continuity. But yet with injured workers, there's no continuity, and that's left up to each state. And I think we need some minimum federal standards like we have a minimum federal wage.
Right on, brother.
And Senator Brown was one of the ones that signed the letter that told me. That's my little love letter from Senator Sanders that I hold next to my heart, hoping that somebody will put that on the table someday and fight for us.
Yeah, listen, Darren, you keep up the good work. Thanks for calling in. And listen, be careful out there. Don't be screaming any more judges, all right?
Oh, no, I'm not. And one more thing, Governor Jay Inslee said he's going to look into some of my complaints now. So
Good.
I'm a little happy about that.
Keep us in the loop because we will follow this story to the end. Pulitzer Prize winning UConn blog, okay?
And I want to thank you guys for that, too, because you are getting our voices heard, and thank you so much for that. The Injured Workers of America appreciate it. You know, no matter if you agree with federal oversight or not, just getting our voices heard is one big step for us injured workers.
That's what it's about, brother. Thank you for calling in, Darren. Okay, have a good one, buddy.
To the strikers out there, I want to send some power their way, too.
All right.
And some good vibes.
Good,
All right, thanks,
good.
sir.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
buddy. All right, right.
Take it easy.
I don't know if I can handle 30 days in minimum security.
Howdy folks, Darren Ray Fonso here talking about workers' compensation, or labor and industries as we call it here in the state of Washington. Today's topic is how I've reached out to a progressive journalist named Randy Rhodes to speak up for the Injured Workers of America, and she intently fails to do so. I keep trying to approach her nicely, and she doesn't want to help. Then I try to be a jerk about it, and then she gets all pissy. Anyways, we're going to give her a call and see why it is she don't want to stand up and represent the Injured Workers of America with the needed minimum federal oversight. As she's calling out whistleblowers at this point and saying we need to listen to the whistleblowers, but she doesn't want to listen to America's work comp whistleblowers. Yeah, I'm trying to call in and talk to Randy Rhodes.
Oh, you got us. You found us. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
That's beautiful. What's your name?
Darren?
Darren. Where are you calling from, sir?
Washington State.
All right. What do you want to speak about today?
I'd like to talk about workers' compensation whistleblowers and the failure of the liberal left to put on the table the minimum federal standards that Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez all told us we needed in a letter to OSHA and to the Department of Labor 4 years ago. So for 4 years, American injured workers have been failed by the liberal left. I'd like to know why.
All right. And you said your name was Darren?
Yes.
Got it. All right. Hold on.
All right, thanks.
It says, prepare to die, and then he says he's going to take his dog Bianca away from him. All right, Darren in Washington.
Yeah, hi. I was wanting to ask you some questions. I'm all for whistleblowers, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, so you supporting whistleblowers, that rocks. But when it comes to work comp whistleblowers asking for minimum federal oversight that Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez told us injured workers we need, my liberal left seems to be running from me on that issue. Could you please tell me why?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about minimum federal oversight for injured workers and work comp whistleblowers, ma'am.
Work comp whistleblowers? Can I have a name of somebody that you'd like me to look up?
Darren Fonso. I'm talking to you, ma'am. I'm a work comp pensioner out of the state of Washington who went through work comp hell.
Yeah, but which whistleblower should I look up to see the story?
Which whistleblower? I'm blowing the whistle right now to you, ma'am. Hello? There you go. She has no intent of getting honest with the injured workers of America. And I waited a long time for that, and I'm going to cut that long span of me waiting for her to reply out. But there you go. We got Randy Rhodes not wanting to get honest and not wanting to talk to a work comp whistleblower. Well, who's the work comp whistle? I'm trying to blow the whistle right now to you, Randy Rhodes, and you intently don't want to get this issue addressed. I've emailed you, I've phoned you, and I've done everything to get you to try and step up and represent labor and the injured workers of America with the needed minimum federal oversight. Senator Sanders and Patty Murray and Tom Perez told us injured workers of America we need. So if we're being failed, it's because of the Randy Rhodes of America. And the Tom Hartman, who tells injured workers, cheat. I hope you make it through it. So when Tom Hartman and Randy Rhodes don't know about a war on injured workers nor the needed minimum federal solutions, these are the folks who are failing the injured workers of America. Thanks for nothing, Randy Rhodes.
Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios, it's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, and workforce politics. The loudest, strongest, and fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. Now here's your host, Chris LaGrange.
You missed the interview with Loretta Van Pelt, huh? Darren's calling? No. Darren, no. Not now. All right, fine. Put Darren on. Darren, you better be on your best behavior. Darren from Seattle, Tacoma, Washington.
I promise to be on good behavior.
Are you on your meds today, Darren?
Chris LaGrange. Is this UConn blog?
This is. What's up, Darren?
Okay, well, actually, what I'm calling about was wanted to tell you some good news that on the injured workers front that are seeking the minimum federal oversight, the national cost, the Dirty Dozen folks, have agreed to help organize my injured workers get our voices heard. Isn't that great?
Yeah, how? How are they helping?
They've agreed to somehow, they haven't told me exactly how they're going to help, but they've said out in the open injured workers community Facebook pages, a lady named, I forget her name now anyways, but it's one of the ladies that helps runs it. She agreed to help I talked to her for about 45 minutes on the phone, and she agreed with me that this issue needs to be addressed, and she's going to try and help me advocate for us and organize us. Because, see, I'm a whistleblower. I'm not an advocate. I'm not an organizer. I leave all that up to you guys. I just blow the whistle, you know?
No, you're a pain in the ass. I'm sure you are. So that's an organizer. As an organizer, you got to be a pain in the ass, kind of like Loretta Van Pelt from Minneapolis.
Well, they've agreed that the professional organizers at National Cost have agreed to pick up the issue. So that...
Time out, Darren. What's National Cost?
I'm a man by myself. Can't do too much, but
Darren, stop.
Up a lot.
Darren, stop for a
The
second.
Committee on Occupational Safety and Health?
Like a NICOSH?
Yeah, they're just the national version.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I know the Kosh people. We have a Kosh in New York.
The Dirty Dozen.
All right.
We've written their Dirty Dozen a bunch of times.
Cool. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, no, a lady from them, I talked to them for 45 minutes on the phone. They're whatever they call it. One's a co-director and the other's a co-director. But I talked to one of them before, threatened to send me to jail. But the one who spent 45 minutes on the phone with me agreed to address our issue.
Cool. Hey, listen. What do you guys? How are you guys handling the pandemic? You wearing your mask every time you're going out?
I don't go out. I stay home and stay safe, brother. I'm an certified nursing assistant. Remember, I know what a hoax and what isn't.
You know what's what. Darren, thanks so much for calling in, buddy, and giving us the update.
All right, brother. You too. Thanks for allowing me to be heard, brother.
No problem, brother. Okay. I think he's my favorite. What do you call him? Like a fan, a follower?
Yeah.
A listener?
Listener.
Darren.
You guys could do some damage if he was in New York with you.
Oh, no.
You two working together? My God.
Oh, no.
You get honest with labor,
prick. Okay. Nah, Darren's on the phone. Darren, what, buddy? We got important guests. What do you need, buddy?
He's here right now.
You know, Rye, we've gone through Labor Day weekend, and nobody said one word about a war on injured workers or a needed Fed issue, as we allow the AFT and Reverend Barber to scream louder for Med for All plan that Section 801 leaves our injured workers behind. And I want to know why we are failing the injured workers of America. Chris LaGrange.
Now, what, Darren? Darren, don't you think that we don't say the word injured workers because you do too much? That what they mean is funding OSHA, which Biden has talked about, as has anybody running for federal government, as well as what, Brian? Also, the COVID gag order. We're talking about that.
Well, and I think
also, Brian, and also, Darren, you know, the corporations don't want to be liable if someone gets sick from COVID, and the union community is behind it.
Yeah, and they're fighting for a federal oversight and a federal regulations for OSHA. in regards to COVID, so that everybody's.
But
safe,
Darren,
so that
are
it's
you
not safe
talking
as
about? Are you talking right now about the people who are hurt right now?
No, I'm talking about the ones that get hurt in the future.
Okay, so are we?
I'm talking about federal oversight that Senator Sanders told us we needed, and that we've also been told by United States Congress that we need, and the Research Service, Federal Congressional Research Service. We need this federal oversight. We were told we need this federal oversight, but the Jason Call for Congress, who's running for Congress, won't put my issue on the table because he's busy pushing single payer and Medicare for all instead of my Fed issue.
All right, listen, write it up and we'll blog it and we'll target him.
I've written it to you already several times, and you keep failing to push my issue. I have lawyers behind me saying, Darren, you're correct.
All right.
And so I am being failed, and so is the union is failing us, Chris. Please step up and speak up. Look up my issue and talk about
I'll assure you I'll take a look at it and we'll get it out soon. How's that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, brother.
Sir.
Thank
you. Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye.
And be safe.
You too. Is that his picture in the cowboy hat?
Yes.
He is scary. He sounds scarier than he really looks.
I agree.
Okay. Thanks, James, for having me getting screamed at by my number one fan.
It's your dream.
Anyway,
where were we?
So we were talking about we got to get Will on. So what happened was Trump somehow became